Hey, thanks for tuning in today, guys. I wanted to talk with you about how to keep your home studio data safe. Not a very exciting topic, but certainly one that's very important. You're listening to a person that has lost 3 hard drives in the last 2 years. Lots of data on the first one, but after that I learned my lesson and had a good backup plan, so when I lost the second 2, I didn't lose anything. So today I want to talk with you about that. For those of you who find it a little confusing or just want some ideas on how to have a better plan for keeping your data safe. So let's get right into it. So why backup? It's a pretty simple question with a pretty simple answer. You really want a way to protect your creative data because you never know what's going to happen. You could end up seeing one of these 2 screens, for either from Windows or Mac, that your hard drive is gone, inaccessible. And hard drive recovery is extremely expensive. I think it's upwards to close to $1,000 to have a hard drive recovered if it fails. Maybe cheaper in some areas, but that's what I've read and what I've heard, and I've never even gone down that road. So again, you don't want to see these 2 screens because the hard drives do fail. You never know what's going to happen to your computer system. Someone could drop something on it. Who knows? You could drop your Mac, your laptop. Anything can happen. So it's always good to have a way to back up your data. And really, it's become a no-brainer. You can get a good external hard drive for under $200. And Offsite Backup has become very inexpensive. There are services out there that give you unlimited backup for about $50 a year. So it's really become a no-brainer. So these are important reasons why you should look at having a backup plan. So let's talk about the different types of backups. There's really 2 types. Local, which is when you back up to an external hard drive, and it could be either a single drive or a RAID drive, and I'll talk about RAID drives in a second. Or you can have an offsite plan, or you can have an offsite plan where you back up to a cloud or an online backup service. And there's a bunch of these. These are just 3. These are really the top 3. But there are a bunch of them. You can do your research and figure out which one's best. I'll tell you in a bit about the ones that I've used and the one that I'm currently using. To give you an idea. So let's take a look at what local backup software is available to you. On the Mac, it's really a no-brainer. You use Time Machine. It comes with your Mac OS. It's an amazing backup software solution. And you want to make sure you have a hard drive at least the same size as your internal drive. So if you have a 500 gigabit drive, you want to make sure you have a 500 gigabit external drive. I actually like to have one that's either double or triple the space of your internal drive. And this way, if you're using something like Time Machine, you can have months worth of backups. And the way Time Machine works, there's videos on YouTube on how it works, but in a brief description of how it works, multiple times per day, it's backing up your environment. And you're able to go into Time Machine and go back, let's say, a week, and pull up what your Mac hard drive looked like exactly a week ago, what it exactly looked like, every single file, whether it was deleted or not. It's really an amazing system, and it saved my butt dozens of times from stuff that I've erased. So if you have a Mac and you're not using Time Machine, I highly recommend it. Get yourself an external drive, USB 3 or USB 2 drive. Doesn't have to be fast because it's for backups. Hook it up to your Mac and start using Time Machine. It's really easy. On the Windows side, you have multiple options available to you. You have Microsoft Backup. They have a backup solution which is not that robust, but it certainly is a way that you can use to back up your hard drive. There's also multiple different pieces of software that you can buy for anywhere from $20 to $100 that you can use to have more features like scheduling and incremental backups, etc., etc. So you want to look into that and pick one that's right for you. Plenty of solutions for your local backup. Now let's talk about hardware for your local backup. You can either go single drive, which I just spoke about before, where you get an external drive either hooked up through USB 3 or SATA, or in the case of Macintosh through Thunderbolt. I wouldn't really give up a Thunderbolt port for a backup drive. You could just use USB 2 or USB 3 because, again, it doesn't have to be super fast. It's a backup drive. So you can either have a single drive, and again, you can get one for under $150, or you can go with a RAID system. And what a RAID system basically is 2 drives that mirror each other. So if you're using RAID 1, when you back up to drive 1, it automatically backs up that same file to drive 2. So you have a duplicate copy. So if one of those drives fails, you can actually pull it out and put a new one in, and you'll always have 2 copies of your backup. So it's really a super safe way to go if your data is that critical and you want to make sure that there's no way in hell you're going to lose your data, because in this case with a RAID system, you'll have your internal drive, you'll have your first RAID 1 drive and your second RAID 1 drive. So you'll have 3 local copies of your data. The odds of those 3 drives all failing at the same time are astronomical. So that's probably one of the safest ways. And you can actually get RAID systems with 3, even 4 drives if you're really that paranoid about losing your data. I think 2 is probably enough, especially if you combine that with what we're going to talk about next, which is Offsite Backup. Offsite Backup comes in many different flavors. There's literally dozens of companies that offer this service, and basically the way it works is you sign up for the service, you download their client, you set up your backup settings, and every night at 2 o'clock in the morning, your data gets automatically backed up to their service. Now what happens is you'll first do the initial backup, which will take a very long time depending on how much data you have. So in my case, I had 165 gig and it took 2 days. You may have less, you may have more, but it's going to take a while depending on the speed of your internet connection. But after that, it's not bad at all. Let's say each night at 2 o'clock, you may have 50 or 100 or 200 files that have to get backed up, because it's an incremental. It doesn't back up the whole system every time. It just backs up changes. So that makes it real simple. And you can set these up to never delete any files, or you can set it up to delete files after a year, etc., etc. When I mean delete files, I mean files that you've deleted on your computer will actually be backed up on your offsite backup for a year, so you can go back and get them if you want to. Many different options depending on the service that you choose. The one I use is called Crash Plan, and the reason why I use Crash Plan is because they have unlimited data, and for $59, I think it's $59 a year, you can back up as much data as you want for one computer. I actually have their family service, which is like $150 a year, and that allows you to have up to 10 computers with unlimited space. And I back up every night, and it works. Their software is great, and it works clean. I did use Mosey before I found Crash Plan, and Mosey was fine, but Mosey has limitations on the amount of data that you can back up. So I would look into the different plans, and you'll see that there's a lot available, and you know the best thing to do is to choose the one that's right for you. So let's talk about how we can really keep things secure, and that's really having the best of both worlds. And this is the system that I use. I've got an external drive. I'm actually using a Western Digital MyBook, and I've got Time Machine running on that. It's a 3 terabyte drive to back up my 1 terabyte internal drive and my 500 gigabyte external drive. So I've got plenty of space. I've got 2 times the space on my backup. So this means I have backups going back 6 months. So I can go into my environment on my Time Machine 6 months back and find files, which is really optimal, right? And in addition to that, I use an offsite. And what the offsite does is it backs up my real-time hard drive every night. So I know that if I have any problems, I can either find it quickly locally on Time Machine, or God forbid something happens to my computer and it's gone or whatever, I always have a backup offsite at Crash Plan. And Crash Plan they use military encryption when you send the data there. They have their own backup system, so you know your data is safe, etc., etc. So I know no matter what happens, I'm always going to have a copy of my data, my current data, on Crash Plan. So really, I recommend the best of both worlds here. Having an offsite system so that you know that it's a fail-safe, and if anything happens, you have data. And then having an on-site using like Time Machine in the case of the Mac, or in case of PC using whatever software you choose to use to keep an on-site just in case you lose a file and you want to go back there and quickly get it. So this is probably, in my mind, the best way to go. So what do you get when you have a real solid backup plan? You get peace of mind, right? And what you need to do is you need to decide the plan that fits for you. It might be just an offsite, or it might be having an onsite and an offsite. Decide what's right for you. You can set it up so that your data is backed up automatically in a real easy fashion. You don't even think about it, right? And that's what you want to do. And the software that you get with these services makes it real easy to do that. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. You just have to have an understanding of how to plan it out and go about doing it. And what the peace of mind is, you'll never lose your work again. So if you're working on an EP and you just came up with a brilliant part on a song, you record it at that night, and the next morning you find out that your hard drive fried for some reason. If your backup worked at 2 o'clock in the morning, or your time machine was working, you know you got that riff or that piece that you recorded, and you don't have to worry about losing that performance. So it makes total sense to spend some time and a little bit of money on doing this. Don't learn the hard way like I did when you lose a hard drive and you lose a bunch of stuff that you've worked a long time on. It's best to do it right away and have a great plan for it. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them for you, or send me a direct message. Hit the like button if you like what you saw today, and check out our website, hometracksaudio.com. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.